You know, it's 2023. You have an artist that for most people listening right around the world is a discovery at this point. Enough people are going to shows for them to come out and headline their first US tour. We'll talk about that in a couple of seconds' time. And they're going to be doing shows with Hozier in November. That's exciting too, but it's a building process. And I wouldn't hold anybody at this point in their journey accountable for making a decision to write the best possible song in 3 minutes, put it out, and move on to the next thing. You're listening to a band called The Last Dinner Party who decided to put a song ahead of a very important album coming out February 2nd and finish with like 90 seconds of the most incredible ambient tone. As someone who loves ambient tone, I'm blown away by that call. And then to put it out as a you know, a hallmark for this album is just a testament to the sense of actual identity and self this band has.
I think identity is a really good place to start with this band because they are being forthright and honest in a way that I don't think a band like this could have been maybe even 10, 15 years ago.
It's impressive, man.
I mean, they are. I mean, it's really diary pages torn out, stapled to the back of this sort of sweeping orchestral arrangement. And if you are just discovering The Last Dinner Party here with us on Apple Music One, it has been a massive year for this band, especially over the pond. I mean, they sold out the Roundhouse like in like a matter of minutes. They're playing the El Rey here next Monday in LA.
It's happening for sure.
I mean,
but it's not 90 seconds of ambient tone happening.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, that's like, you know, I mean, it took Radiohead 3 or 4 albums to muck around with that. So anyway, we're going to get into it, catch up with Last Dinner Party here in a conversation we had just before we went to air because they're out on tour, so we're figuring it out in real time. It's nice to finally meet you. Congratulations. What an amazing year you had, and it continues. We'll get to the music in a second, but how does it feel? You're out here doing US shows. You've got Hozier tour coming up. All exciting, I'm sure, but you loving it? What's the vibe on the road?
Just got here. We're all a bit whiplash. Yeah, it's surreal being in America. It's my first time being here as well.
Really?
The novelty, all the novelties, the yellow school bus, my hydro. It's like, oh my God, little girl.
And I love the story. I love that, you know, you went out and played those shows and did it for yourselves and didn't just kind of expect anything to happen. You did it because you love to do it. So the question is like, when it started to feel real outside of the 5 of you, when people started to show up and people were like, hey, you want to go record some shit? What did that feel like? Like, what was the feeling like when it was like, oh, okay, this actually is starting to take some shape?
I always kind of describe that like moment in time to people as like we were living through a movie about a band who were getting a record deal and like getting noticed by people in the music industry and recording the album. It felt like a real out-of-body experience, like we were watching a movie about this band who are finally making it. So it was really surreal.
So let's talk about this song called On Your Side. Just tell us a story about how this came to exist.
It's so fun to talk about this because like I feel like so far it's one of the most intimate kind of vulnerable songs on the record lyrically. And it's just it's about, you know, being in a bad relationship and not being able to leave it. And I actually wrote it. The person I was with at the time, I wrote the first draft of the lyrics like the very first time I met them. Like it was like that night in bed, and I wrote the lyrics.
Whoa! So hang on. So you meet someone for the first time, and it's like
I wasn't like a one night stand.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that was the first draft, was just that, and then as the relationship went on and it became clear that it was not a good one, it kind of changed, and it's sort of about that, the pain of knowing you should leave and feeling stifled and frightened. Also, other frightening part of being like, I love you still, and I won't leave, and I'm kind of dedicated to this sinking ship.
Your own self-imposed structure is kind of important, right? Because you could have just written a whole album about that, but you got it done in a song and you saved 2 minutes of ambient for the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a good way of facing yourself and being kind of therapeutic and healing about it when you only have the confines of a 3-minute song to process an entire relationship. But I feel like, you know, if you do something like that, it means that only the most important parts of yourself and your understanding and your healing come through then. And so it's kind of a good boundary to have, that you're forced to explore this entire thing in a short period of time.
The outro is incredible. Whose idea was it, or how did you decide to finish the song with like 2 minutes of just beautiful ambient music?
We were just talking about that actually, because it was like an improvised moment in the studio. So you're with our producer, James Ford, and he had this like amazing synthesizer that whenever you change everything, make it really weird. So Aurora and I just sat down and like improvised. It was like weird. I think listening to On Your Side when we got the music video back through, I hadn't listened to the recorded version of that for a while. Yeah. So I'm so used to the live version. And I listened to the recorded one, I was like, it's so like lush and cinematic and rich. I don't know, when you play it live, it's a bit kind of grittier maybe, because it's like the sound of the venue and it's a bit, I don't know, it's kind of mixed in with real life sounds, but it's so like clear and beautiful. So yeah, I think I really enjoyed listening back to the studio version of that one actually recently. Yeah, that was
20 minutes. Can you send it to me? Can you send that to me, please?
Yeah.
They haven't, but I would like to hear it. A 20-minute ambient piece constructed by The Last Dinner Party, of which we got 90 seconds or so to finish off a cover of New Music Daily. That's the cover of the playlist. It's for 24 hours. It's deservedly so. It's called On Your Side. It's taken from the album, which is forthcoming in February 2024. And we're excited to have them joining us on the show. Thank you for that. This is Apple Music.